You want to talk about this?
Our bands off our bodies. Yeah.
This is okay. So Tuesday of this week, the Florida legislature opened its session for this year. Okay. And it was a doozy. It was basically a Ron DeSantis fascist bomb went off in Tallahassee. And our very own right here in Southwest Florida, Jenna Persons-Malika and Spencer Rhodes co-sponsored the 6-week abortion ban.
You know what? Spencer Rhodes, I remember when I met him for the first time, and I was just as warm and friendly, and he just gave me the coldest stare. I don't get on here and talk about people, but it's just like,
listen, let's just call a spade a spade. Spencer Rhodes is nothing more than a pawn in other people's games. But they don't care.
Whoa.
Listen, why? This is why, and this is truth time here. Okay, it's because we have term limits in the state of Florida. In order to continuously have a fresh crop of people going into the state legislature, you have to have major financial backers to take relatively nobodies and get them elected. That means that the corporate interests, the corporations in their PACs are the ones who are filling these seats. Not to mention the gerrymandering. So these are all safe Republican seats.
Now you sweeping around my front door because all this, I know, because my name was on the ballot. And look, Telly ain't just coming up shout. That's not what happened here. It was organized. It was something behind it. And money, listen, it make the world what they say: money, power, respect. What you need in life. And the thing is that we, the people, going back to why we have to get out here and make ourselves known. Because, like you said, there are people who are set on their agenda, and it doesn't necessarily represent us. Represent the common man. Represent the lowly ones.
It has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with those corporate backers who back their continuous revolving door of politicians.
Just voting or not voting, and just separated from it. But you know what? It's some people out there that would say Spencer Roach in the gang, they're a terrific gang. Always. Maybe it's just me.
No, these people, they're all stuffed suits. They're not real people. No, he's also not a real person. And they lie and they fabricate things because you can. And especially if you're down here, it's even easier because you run here as a Republican, you're basically going to win because they've drawn it so that Republicans will win.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
But back to, there was a lesson in all of this. We got 6 weeks of, we got a
6-week abortion ban. So that means it's 2 weeks after a missed period, basically, is what the Persons has put forward for regulation. And by the way, it also rolls back the exceptions for rape and incest and rolls back the exceptions for medical emergency.
So many people, what I go back to is so many people are thrilled about that. And it's just something it's upon us. It's here. And it's just, wow, 6 weeks. I ain't never been pregnant, but you may not even know that early.
You don't even know. It's unless you're like tracking your period.
So what do you think the objective is? Do you think they just want people to have safer sex and not
it's just control of women, frankly, but
yeah, but when we break it down, like how do they remember, because we be talking about the common man, right? So the common man that's on that side of the argument, what is it that you feel like they feel the strongest about? Do you feel they just feel like God has something to do with it? Because it's not, you want to just be like,
sure. Okay, so people who are deeply enmeshed in this, it is an emotional thing. They go, oh my God, we're saving babies. And this is a big deal, right? And here's the thing, of course, like we want to help people live, but it's very much wrapped up in purposeful disinformation about how these procedures happen, right? So the 90% of abortions are in the first trimester, and among them, the vast majority of them are pills. They're medical abortions, right?
It's not the suctioning and the really gruesome
the
images that you
stuff. Yeah, those are fabricated, and many of those, by the way, are actually illegally obtained photographs.
You can see
there was a woman who just got indicted last year because she broke into a medical facility and she stole fetuses, 14 of them, and used them to take pictures for this anti-abortion propaganda.
Damn, she go hard.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. The thing is,
that's a lot.
And she's saying, oh, look, this is proof of full-term abortion, all this stuff. Here's the thing, is that birth is one of the most dangerous things a woman can go through around the world. It's very complicated. There are many different types of complications that can come up. And 20% of pregnancies on average end up in a miscarriage anyway.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things that can go wrong for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And what's really important is that we allow the medical practitioners to make the decisions with the people rather than make a blanket law.
A blanket law. That's true.
Because
so let me ask you this. I'm gonna ask you a tough question, but you gotta fully answer it. Where do you see society going as a result of this law? Do you see people becoming more responsible and more, or do you see people taking those dangerous measures to go ahead and access an abortion?
Women are going to die. We already have, just with the 15-week abortion ban, there are women in the state of Florida who are awaiting medical care because they've been denied an abortion because of the 15-week abortion ban. So women are going to die. People are going to get sick. There are going to be more children who are unwanted.
That's what I'm thinking about.
The
children, what does that do? Because you're coming from a social work perspective, what does that do? There's a disconnect when that mother cannot or does not want that child, does not want to raise it, whatever the cases may be, whether it was a one-night stand, whether it was just, you know what, I thought this man was going to be there for me, but he may not. So my life is changing. That child's life has to follow that mother's life. If the mother is unwell, we see it time and time again. That trickle down effect. And that's the part that frustrates me, is that there is not as much emphasis on that side of things, on that side of life. It's like like I saw an image that it shook me because it was like the little baby grasping the doctor's hand while one of those was taken. I don't know if that's one of the ones the lady
supposed to emotionally do that. That is a manipulation.
And
it's
that's
not
what I'm
the
saying.
truth.
And so, but then there's a side of life that is very long and exhausting and very complicated and people are unwell and unfit to walk into that role, and they know it. A lot of people know it. This ain't for me. But here's another thing that I need you to address since we're on this topic. The messaging that was sent to Black people from the GOP is that
it's Black genocide.
It's Black genocide because we cannot ignore that. That's where that complication, the deeper you go and the more minority you are, the more banners of minority that you put across it gets complicated like that because you can't ignore that. What's the founder's name of Planned Parenthood?
Oh, I forget her name. But that's also taken out of context.
I don't know, man. No,
that's
y'all
taken out of
trying
context.
To change it when
but listen, no. So the political beliefs of somebody who 100 years ago may have been involved in the organization is very different from a locally owned and operated
I can
organization.
See that, and there's no doubt about that. I think it serves Black and white women equally. I don't know about equally because the numbers ain't even equal. But I think when you look at the ratio, I think a lot of Black women that I know have had an abortion, and there was a couple of people that felt some spiritual discomfort throughout her life because she said I should have kept my child, but for the most part, people in my life said that I needed that. I did not. No, I wasn't trying to take it there, but I get the responsibility aspect of it. Be responsible so you don't have to just go out here. But
it's not even all about responsibility because there are circumstances.
No,
it is rape and incest and age. Not to mention sometimes having an abortion is the responsible thing. I know people who have had abortions because they were in an abusive relationship and they had other children.
Man, please let's talk about children born into households where there is an immense danger for one parent or the other at the hands of the other parent, and you still have to. That is not like health care is so much broader than don't kill the babies or this, that, and the third. I don't know if y'all really want these kids here.
People always don't. Women don't have the responsibility.
Sarah about to jump out her seat over here because she needs to chime in.
But
she needs to tap in, and so I can tap out and find out how much this bill is each turn that ran up.
But so listen, the women are often disempowered in these relationships too. So example, I actually know 2 women who are in their 70s who had abortions illegally in the 60s, right? Because their husbands forced them into sex that today we would call marital rape, but at the time it wasn't considered
It's
that.
not even a thing because you're married. That's your husband. All
Right.
the abuse.
And you have to submit to it. And then they wanted to escape those abusive relationships with the children. They felt an obligation to the children they had. So again, there's various different circumstances. There was a couple other things. So one, I actually looked at the data when the GOP folks were talking about the Black genocide thing. And here, a lot of it is based on data that came out of New York. And it is actually true. But if you think about the demographics of New York and where Planned Parenthood is, they're serving low income neighborhoods in New York. So the people who have access and proximity to them are largely Black,
There's
right?
that correlation between race and class that
Planned Parenthood offers services based on a sliding scale for your income. People feel comfortable going there who are lower income because they can get those services. So it's a bit skewed because of that, but it was showing that yes, there was a disproportionate to the population amount of Black women who are having an abortion. And
I would like to see the Republican Party put a lot more attention on children who have a rough life as it is, who are in this country, who are living under the burden of poverty and mental illness and disabilities. I want to see y'all loving on them a little bit, loving on them with the same intensity. Keep that same energy.
After the baby's born?
After that child is born, for sure.